Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to the Honeybee Knits podcast. That's what Levi does on all of his podcasts. I'm stealing it. And welcome to the insert number episode here. I'm a horrible podcaster for not knowing this. But guys, it has been so long since I podcasted. But before we get into all of that chit chat, let's go ahead and introduce myself and open up the podcast here the way I should. So, welcome to the Honeybee Knits podcast. My name is Melissa. I'm coming to you from Springboro, Ohio, which is 45 minutes north of Cincinnati, where I live with my husband, our 2 cats, and our dog Izzy. I am a project manager by day and a fiber enthusiast by night. So welcome, and I hope that if you are a new viewer, you enjoy this podcast and you will like and subscribe below. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for returning. You guys know what to do. Any questions or comments about anything I mentioned in today's podcast, please put them below. I do not spend time on show notes, but if you want to know anything, just comment below or message me on Instagram or Ravelry or Etsy or one of the million places you can find me, and I will answer all of your questions. Speaking of where you can find me on Instagram as honey_bee_knits, Ravelry as Melissa1308, and that's Melissa with 1 L, 2 S's. I know some people get that wrong. I am in the Honeybee Knits podcast group on Ravelry. I have an Etsy shop, and you can find me as honeybeenknitsco.etsy.com. So, in my Etsy shop, I dye yarn, which you can actually see some of the yarn that I dye in these cubbies right here. And I think that's it. I think that I got it all. Did I get it all? I don't know. Knit for Brains, Alicia is the expert at the introductions, so I've been studying her and trying to take some lessons. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, it has been forever since I podcasted. So much has happened, and I'm not just being dramatic. I've got so much to share, but I'm going to try to keep it all till the end, and I know sometimes I'm so exhausted at the end that I kind of summarize everything, but not everybody is interested in my life, and I don't want to open up the podcast with that. Most people are just interested in what I'm knitting, so I'm going to jump right in. I will be doing giveaways today in today's podcast, but I think because I haven't pulled numbers yet, I'm going to do it on my break because I normally take a break while I'm recording. And so we'll probably do that after FOs and whips and before acquisitions. Okay, so let's jump right in. So I'm going to start off with what I'm wearing. So I finished another sweater, guys, and I absolutely love it. So this sweater is Find My Way by Tristan Molina of Dragon Horde Yarn. She's also one part of the 2 women in the Girls in the Yarn Cafe podcast. So if you haven't checked out that podcast, go check it out. Anyway, so she put out a call for test knitters, and it was right when I had just finished knitting 2 sweaters for Rhinebeck. The goal was 5. I thought that Levi and I, you know, from WTF podcast, if you watched my previous episodes or any of his episodes, we were competing and we were trying to each knit 5 for Rhinebeck. And I thought that included the 2 that I had already knit, and then he told me a few months ago that it doesn't. So, and by all means, it shouldn't if I really think about it, because he's knit like 20 sweaters in the past couple months. So, I had just finished 2 sweaters for Rhinebeck, which means I now have 3 if you include this one. Rhinebeck is 3 weeks away from yesterday, so I am not going to probably get any more sweaters knit before then because I have a lot of obligation knitting. If you've seen the video that went up right before this was a review video, and I have a lot of reviews coming up that are due, so I need to start working on those. I have Desert Vista Dye Works stocks. I have all this planned stuff, which I'll get into later. But anyway, so right around the time I was finishing those 2 sweaters, Tristan put out a call for test knitters, and I told her that's a beautiful pattern, and the deadline would be perfect for me because that would ensure I had at least 1 more sweater knit before Rhinebeck. And so I asked her if I could test knit it, and she said, of course. So this is the sweater. So originally I wanted to use my own yarn that I dye for it, but I didn't have enough to dye up that weekend, and I wanted to start it as soon as possible, and I didn't want to have to wait on another bulk order. So I reached out to Tristan, and unfortunately Tristan wasn't able to dye any up for me because she was busy with Book Knitting Live and Halloween advent calendars and Christmas advent calendars and her general shop. Plus she has a bunch of patterns being released towards the end of the year, so she needed to focus on that, so I completely understand. So I was in search for the perfect DK yarn to knit this sweater out of, because it is made out of DK yarn. And I knew I wanted something subtle, like a subtle neutral color with some pops of color speckles. So that's what I went out searching for, and I happened across Life in the Long Grass. I actually do not have the yarn band. I was using it to help some knitters do some calculations on how many yards per gram that they knit, and so it is downstairs. But I did swatch, so I'll show you this, and I know that this is Life in the Long Grass DK, and the colorway is Artifacts, and it is perfect for what I was looking for. It has kind of a light tannish hue, but some of the balls had more pink in them, so it turned it into like a pinky kind of background color, which I am perfect with, and it depends on the lighting as to what you see. That being said, most of the skeins that I got were very similar in color, but each one was just a bit darker than the next. So what I did was I ordered mine from darkest to lightest, so that way I did not have to switch out skeins in the middle of the pattern, and I wouldn't get any weird striping. So that's what I did. And so I started, it is a bottom up with a split hem, and I'm going to stand up to show you guys how it looks. It's a boxy type sweater. The sleeves, you actually knit the sleeves in the shoulders, and you don't pick up the sleeves until right about here. So once you're done knitting the body of the sweater, you actually don't have that much sleeve to knit. And I think the sleeves are seamed up here with the 3-needle bind off, and you can't even tell. It's so good. I love it. So I'm going to show you the bottom, and remember I worked my way from darkest to lightest, and I started at the bottom and worked my way up. This did take me, I believe, 6.25 skeins of yarn, of DK yarn, which is really fantastic considering a fingering weight sweater normally takes me 5 or 6. So the fact that this only took 6 of DK, that's, let me make sure that's right. I had 9 minus 3 is 6. Yeah, 6.25 skeins, because I have 2.75 skeins left, and I started out with 9. So here we go. I knit the size 3X, which is the second largest in the pattern, and it is meant to have a lot of positive ease, and as you can see, it does. I'm going to try to raise it up here so you can see the split hem. So on the side, you can see that you knit the ribbing, you knit the front and the back, and then you join it here, so that gives you a little extra room at the bottom. It has these wonderful cables. The back panel is the same as the front panel, so I'll turn around quickly, but it looks the same as the front. It's just a bit longer. So you have these smaller cables running up the side. You have 2 more of those smaller cables running up this cable pattern, and then you have this large cable pattern running up here. It is a higher neck, which I love, but look how loose it is, guys. So I don't feel like I'm choking in a turtleneck. So you do pick up the collar after you finish seaming the sleeves and knitting the sleeves. And then down the sleeves themselves, she has a miniature version of this, and I just love that detail. So this was so fun to knit, and guys, if you are afraid of cables, do not be. I always said I didn't like cables because I had to pay attention to a pattern, but each one of these right here is a repeat of 10 rows. So eventually, and it's very intuitive to figure out as you're knitting, to figure out where you're at. So eventually, you memorize it after a few times. And so it just flies. and it keeps it interesting. So you're not just knitting plain garter and you're like knitting and knitting and knitting, and you have 5 inches left here, and then you knit, and then you have 4.5 inches, because that's all you're doing is garter. So it gives it some interest. It makes it go by very quickly. And I don't know if you guys could tell, I have a tank top on underneath, but if you can see, yeah, you can definitely tell the darker. I think this is the worst transition here with the yarn, but again, it's at the bottom, so it's not too incredibly noticeable. If I would have known I was going to have yarn left over, I wouldn't have started with this skein, but I didn't know how much I was going to need because I was test knitting. So nobody had knit this size sweater yet to tell me, hey, this is how much you need. And so, like I said, it is a boxy. So the one thing that I don't like, and it's not the fault it's not the fault of the pattern at all. This is the way the sweater is designed. But because it's a boxy, you have a lot of room in the arms right here, which you're supposed to. I prefer to have something like this. I don't know why. I guess I just don't like my arms rubbing right there. So that's why I would wear a tank top if I was going to wear this. But this is not the fault of the pattern at all. It's just the way this type of sweater is meant to fit. So yeah, I'm really incredibly happy with it. I think it turned out great and I love it. And again, this is just another example, if you're plus size like me, of a perfect pattern that you can knit and wear and feel comfortable and cozy in and not have to worry about whether or not it's gonna fit, because the side panels over here are garter. So that means it gives it lots and lots of stretch. So the pattern itself is designed to be knit with 6 inches of positive ease. So it's already going to be oversized as it is. Plus, when you add that garter in there, this is perfect for any body type. I honestly, if I wanted a more form-fitting sweater, I probably would have went down, I would say like 3 sizes. Because this just has so much room into it. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Again, it's called Find My Way by Tristan Molina, and you guys should definitely check it out. So the next finished object that I'm going to show, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on because I did a whole video devoted to it, but for those of you that don't watch the reviews, I did want to show it. I did a review for Brown Sheep Co. Using their Stratosphere DK line, and I knit the Jody shawl. So I knit this last weekend. I did host a, this is the wrong side. Again, I keep showing the wrong side. I did host a knit-a-thon, which I'll talk more about in a little bit. But this is what I knit with that DK yarn, and I'm incredibly pleased with it. The yarn, if you want to know more about it, please check out my review video. It turned out fantastic and I love it. And I finally have a Jody shawl. It's for a gift, but I finally knit one. I've been wanting to knit one for a while. The third and final finished object that I have for you guys, I just flashed them on the screen, is my Desert Vista Dye Works socks for August, because I'm that far behind in podcasting. And here they are. This is the Monster High colorway, and I don't have a whole lot to say about this. As you know, I'm trying to work through my non-sparkle stash of her yarn. So this is her 75-25 base, and I love the way the colors knit up on this, and I don't know why it took me so long to knit them. I have a basic standard sock recipe you can see in my older podcast, but just quickly I'll give you the rundown. I cast on 64 stitches for my foot. I knit 20 rows of 2x2 ribbing, twisted rib. It's not a true twisted rib because I only twist the knit stitch. I knit 60 rows in the leg. I put in my markers for an afterthought heel. I decrease, well, first I decrease down to 60 stitches. So I do 1 round of decreases, put in my markers for my afterthought heel, and then I knit another 50 rows, and then I do a rounded toe with a Kitchener stitch, and then I steek in my afterthought heels and knit them. So that is how these were knit. And that's it for FOs. Yeah, FOs. That's it for FOs. I have one width to show you guys. I've been pretty monogamous. When I was working on the sweater, I was only working on the sweater. When I did the socks, I only did the socks. When I did the shawl, I only did the shawl. And the same goes for my whip. And I would call it actually a hoe, because even though this sock isn't finished and it still needs a heel, I've got this sock started and I'm halfway through the leg. So this again is Desert Vista Dye Works, and I believe this is the radioactive zombie colorway, and somehow this got damp. Anyway, oh, my water's down here, that's why. So again, I started these 2 days ago. I did the cuff, maybe it was, yeah, not yesterday, but the day before, so 3 days ago. I did the cuff and the leg the first day. Last night I did the foot and the toe, and then I started the second one. I will have these done tonight. I'm not going to bed until they're done. Sunday is the last day of the month, and I have a scarf that I have to knit. My Doctor Who scarf for my husband's friends. I told him it would be done by the end of September, and I'm sticking to it. So that is what I will be working on this weekend. These socks and that scarf. Again, this is $75.25. I think I have 2 or 3 more skeins. I think 3 or 4 more skeins, $75.25. So I will finish those out this year, and next year will be the year of Sparkle Desert Vista Dye Works socks, and I have a huge shipment coming from her, which I'll talk about in a minute, because of course I do, because it wouldn't be me unless I did. It is in my Stitching Plaza bag, and I still have some of these available in the shop. We did Monopoly kits together, and I love this bag, guys. It is so well made. It's the perfect drawstring for a small project, and you saw me tossing it around. I took this to Las Vegas with me because I thought it was very appropriate, which reminds me, I need to talk about my Las Vegas trip later on. So, what else? Okay, so plan projects. So I already talked about the Doctor Who scarf that I'm going to do. I have some reviews that I have to do this month. I believe I have 2 due in October, and I can't remember which 2 they are. So I know for sure that Zen Yarn Garden is due in October. So I will be doing the 3-color cashmere cowl with the, or 3-color cashmere shawl by Joji Locatelli with the yarn that they sent me for that. And I will share that on my next podcast, because it will be either a whip or finished by the time I podcast next. Who knows at this point. I've got Desert Vista Dye Works socks that I can start in a few days for October. And in addition to that, Jason has put in his request for a few more socks for winter, so I need to get started on those, as well as I purchased that mustache yarn to knit him some Dark Side of the Moon socks, and his friend Adam some Dark Side of the Moon socks, so I will probably work on those. I'm leaving for Rhinebeck in 3 weeks, and I really would like to take my Zweig sweater with me that I haven't started yet. I did dye up the yarn for it, and I will show you that yarn on my next podcast. And my goal is to cast it on while I'm in Rhinebeck. However, if I do not have my next, I would say 2 or 3 reviews done by the time I leave, then I probably won't bring it with me, because I really want to make sure that I'm staying on top of those. And I want to get those done. So that's the plan. Okay, so I'm gonna take a break. I'm going to go draw winners for all of the knit-alongs and talk a little bit about the administrative stuff. Then we will jump into acquisitions, which will take quite a while, and then we'll talk some chit-chat. So I will see you in a couple seconds. I want to apologize in advance for all of the times the angles in this in this video have changed. I just keep having to pause and move on. Okay, so I have a list of lots of winners for 2 separate knit-alongs. But before we get into that, today I will be announcing the winners for the August socks. Yeah, today I'll be announcing the winners for the August socks and the Honeybee Knits knit-a-thon that occurred last weekend. But don't forget that I can't pull winners today for some of these, even though they are quarterly, because we still technically have a few days left in the month. So I will pull them. I had to prop my foot up here. It's really swollen. I'll talk about why in a little bit. I will pull those. I'm at a weird angle because I've got to put my foot up. Ah! Okay, so I'll talk about it later in chit chat, but I had a pretty bad accident with my foot, so we'll talk about that later. Another reason why I haven't podcasted. Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about knit-alongs. Okay, so I can't pull knit-alongs for the quarterly prizes yet because we have still a few days in the month, so those will be on my next podcast, which hopefully I do sooner rather than later. So the first one we still have going is the quarter 3 Whip It Thursday, which will close at the end of this month, and I will draw a winner for the past 3 months, and then I'll open up quarter 4. We have the Honeybee Knits cow, so if you've knit anything with Honeybee Knits yarn, throw it in there. I want to see it, and I like to put those in my podcast episodes at the end, so your project might be featured. We have our Race to Rhinebeck sweater cow, which will end either right before I leave for Rhinebeck, but more than likely when I get back, so I can draw prizes when I get back. And this is any sweaters that you knit, throw them in that thread, and I will draw for prizes. And the prize will be something that I purchased for you at Rhinebeck. And then we have the September socks knit along, which will also close in a few days, so make sure you're finishing up your socks and putting them in the thread. So the winner for the main winner, I have 3 winners today for the sock knit along. And the main winner is, which means they get the big prize package that goes out in the mail. Speaking of which, I still owe a physical prize package to someone from the last episode, and I apologize it hasn't gone out yet. I hope you can forgive me, and I promise I will get that out in the mail sometime between now and when I leave for Rhinebeck in 2 weeks. I apologize for the delay. It's just with everything that's been going on, I have not been able to focus on the podcast as much as I would like to. So unfortunately, it's something that gets put on the back burner. But I do have it on my list, and it will go out. So I'm not forgetting about you, and I apologize. So the winner for the September Yarn of the Month knit along, all winners, please contact me via Revelry. If you win a physical prize, please tell me your address and your full name, because I'll need that. And if you win a pattern prize, please let me know which pattern you would like, up to $7 US. The August sock knit along, the winner for the physical prize package is IMECOOL, or COLL, and that is Linda from PA. So congratulations, Linda. Please contact me, Melissa1308 on Revelry. The 2 pattern prize winners is the first one, and that was post number 12, by the way, and I did use random number generator. Post number 9 won a pattern, and that is NS Knits and Pieces, and she is from Ontario, Canada. And post number 21 also won a pattern prize, and that is Push Past Me, which is Samantha from Cleveland, Ohio. Congratulations, guys. And we're moving right into the knit-a-thon. So we have a couple different prizes here. It was a chatter prize as well as a most yardage prize, and because we did have knit and crochet, which was allowed, I understand that knitting can take more time than crochet, so I drew one of each winner, or didn't draw. So I had the most yardage for either crochet or knit. Both of those people won a prize. And I also had 3 random prize draws, which will get pattern prizes. So the physical prizes will go to the people who knit the most yardage or crochet the most yardage, and the chatter prizes will go to the random number. Pattern prizes will go to the people I drew by random, based on the chatter. So the first winner is the crocheting winner, and that is Jessica, which is Army Wife Knit Life from Germany, and she's a good friend of mine. You guys have heard me talk about her in the past, and she's working on a blanket as a Christmas present, and she crocheted 1,335 yards. So congratulations, Jessica. You well deserve it. She's been participating in all my knit-alongs for a very long time, and she hasn't won that much. So I am very happy that I was able to host a knit-along that she could win a prize in. And I could give her some encouragement on that huge blanket she's working on that I know has been a big stress for her in her life. So congratulations, Jess. It's well deserved. And I will send you out a prize. Also, the most knit yardage, which was very close because we had a lot of you guys in the same range. And in fact, I thought I was going to be in the same range because my yarn is like 260 yards per ball, and I knit 3 balls, but I didn't finish them. You know what? After all of this, I don't think I counted how many yards I knit, and I think I knit like 600. That's a lie. I did not knit 600. I probably knit more like 400 or 450. So congratulations to WKH25, which is Wendy from Wyoming. She knit 670 yards, and it looked like she was able to knock out some whips. So congratulations, Wendy. Please contact me with your address, and I will send you out a prize. The 3 pattern prize winners from Random Draw are as follows. Number 29, which is Knitting Gale, and that's Gina from Ohio. Congratulations, Gina. Let me know what pattern you want. Number 47, which is Kimmy Ann 93, Kim from Iowa. And number 3, which is Von Jean, which is Vonnie from Wisconsin. So congratulations to all of my winners today. Please contact me with your addresses or the patterns that you want, and I will get those out to you as soon as I have time. And I would expect all of these packages, prize packages, to go out in the mail before I leave for Rhinebeck, so including the one that I owe. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you so much for participating. And there's lots and lots of knit-alongs about to close, so we're going to have lots more prizes, so make sure you are participating. I've got some acquisitions. I'm going to have to take my foot down for this. Okay, I have a huge, you guys know me, I have a huge basket full of stuff from the past several months, and I've been pretty good. There were 2 times that I was like not spending for like a month, and then I spent all the money on the same dyer at the same time. So one of which is Desert Vista Dye Works, which I couldn't resist. She had all of her colorways ever in her shop, and so I narrowed it down to 7. I had 34 skeins of yarns in my cart, and I was like, I'm not spending $1,000 on yarn. So, well, I would, but I'm going to Rhinebeck. So anyway, like, this is ridiculous. Back up a little bit. So essentially I purchased 7 skeins of yarn, but I had a 30% discount code, so that helped. But yeah, those will be coming soon. But in addition to that, some of these were the first stuff I'm going to start with is all reviews, and not in the order of their due. But all these companies reached out to me asking me if I would be interested in reviewing their yarn, and of course I can't say no. And I think this is the one I'm like most excited about, and it is from Delicious Yarns. And guys, look at it. It's so cool. It's such a cool combination. I never would have thought to put these together. And I've seen Delicious Yarns before, and I love her tags because of course she's like, you know, that's her theme, is like the cupcakes, right? But she's got like the nutrition information on the back, which is like all the yarn information. So this is their new swirl fingering and frosting fingering bases. And the swirl fingering is this skein right here. And I think it's called swirl because of the way that it's dyed. And this is 0 calories. It's 100 grams, and it has 450 yards, 100% superwash merino, and this is color 610, which is raspberry, and Delicious Yarns originates from Valley Village, CA. And then this one is, oh, they missed the boat on this one. So again, this is 100% superwash merino, and the frosting fingering comes from the way that it was dyed. So this was dyed differently than this, so that's why this is swirl fingering. And this is, again, is 450 yards per 100 grams, 100% superwash merino, and this one is called 122 burnt orange. But I mean, all the pumpkin colors, guys. Pumpkin spice, pumpkin, cinnamon even. But it's okay. It's all right. I miss the boat sometimes too. So anyway, I'm excited to find a pattern for this and knit these up. I also received, this is from Bijou Bashan Ranch, which I've used their wool wash in the past. It was actually something that Amber from the Yarn Hoarder turned me on to. They contacted me about the Twizzlefoot fingering base, their new one. And this is, their yarn line is called Mountain Color Beautiful Hand Painted Yarns. And they are based out of Montana. Again, this is Twizzlefoot, and look at those colors. I love it because it looks like hand spun almost. It is 53% superwash merino wool, 17% domestic wool, which I don't know what that means. I think that means U.S. wool, and 17% silk, 13% nylon. So this is 53% superwash merino, 17% domestic wool, 17% silk, and 13% nylon. I have never seen a blend like this, and it is so soft, so incredibly soft. It's 450 yards per 100 grams, and the colorway is called Hummingbird. I love it, so I'm excited to review that one. Keep saying I'm excited, but I am. And then the next one is a new base from Monostel Uruguay called Felice. I'm a huge fan of Monostel Uruguay. And again, all of this was sent to me for free, but I'm not getting paid for the reviews. So just to let you know. And this is their new base. It is a 70% merino superwash, 30% modal, which I'm not sure what modal is. I'll have to do some research and figure that out. It's 350 yards per 100 grams. They sent me 2 skeins. And this colorway is called Wildflowers. So look how pretty, guys. I think this would be a beautiful shawl for my mother. Or maybe even like a short cardigan, like a capped cardigan. Just because like these are totally her colors. And also this is, the thing about Monostel Uruguay is that and maybe it's Uruguay. I always call it Uruguay. And they always tell you a little bit about it on the tag, and if you don't know, I'm going to read it to you because I purchase from them regularly when I go on yarn crawls and things, just because like I totally support their cause. So Monostel Uruguay, the Hands of Uruguay, is a non-profit organization which assembles women in cooperatives throughout the countryside of Uruguay. I don't know how to pronounce it. The aim of the organization is to bring economic and social opportunities to rural, I can't say that word, rural, so it's R-U-R-A-L, rural. It says, we are proud members of the World Fair Trade Organization. These skeins, it tells you where they were dyed and who dyed them. So these were dyed in Fraile Morts. Sometimes the writing is hard to read. And the artisan was Laura. So it tells you specifically who dyed it and where it was dyed. So if I knit these together, I will need to alternate skeins because they are dyed. The colors are not exact, but it does say on their tag that they recommend buying enough yarn to complete a project at the same time, because that can happen. And that honestly can happen with any indie dyed yarn. And honestly, it might just be the way it was skeined up too, because I do see the same tones of pinks in there. So it might just be the way it was skeined up. But anyway, so I've got that. The last review that I have, and I don't know what, I still have the note like a few days ago, and I don't know what happened to it. And I'm going to be doing a review on this bag. Actually right now. Because the thing with bags is you don't necessarily have to use them to be able to review them. But I received a note from my friend from Fat Girl Sewing. And she said that she had watched my podcast and she saw that I had received a box bag that I wasn't happy with. And she asked me if she could send me one to review. Seeing as how I wasn't happy with the other one I received. And I was like, you totally don't have to do that, but absolutely. And I told her, pick whatever fabric you think. And guys, she sent me the most adorable, is this a llama or an alpaca? I want to say this is a llama. Might be an alpaca. Anyway, look at these adorable little babies and their adorable little like scarves and stuff, and I love it. So anyway, I adore her craftsmanship on this bag. She used a thicker interfacing so that it actually is boxy like it's supposed to be. She has a wider handle, you can actually fit it onto your arm, And her fabric is lined up, so you don't have the problem of the lining being too short for the inside of the bag like on the last one I had. And I am so impressed with this. She even puts like this little extra tab down here, which I think is fabulous. And she actually does that on either side. Either side. I love this. I love it so much. It's actually a boxed bag. Like, this is what it's supposed to be like. So I am very impressed with her craftsmanship. And the zipper, she's a high quality zipper. Her seams are beautiful. The lining is adorable. I love that lining, and I think it matches perfectly. But this bag is so adorable, and I absolutely love it. And I love bags like this for socks, 2 at a time socks, because like you can sit the balls right next to each other. And this is really good to knit on the go. The one thing I might suggest, and it's just a suggestion, if somebody were to be using this while they were walking, I would say the zipper needs to be flipped around to up here, because the way that the zipper is, like if you're like just wanting a little piece of yarn to come out, it actually hangs out the bottom instead of the top. But other than that, like, I feel like this is perfect. Absolutely perfect. So yeah, go check out her shop. I think most of her bags are made to order. So like, she puts up a bunch of fabric that she has, and then you can pick the type of bag that you want her to make. So go check out her shop. She's Fat Girl Sewing on Etsy and Instagram. And I absolutely love this bag. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to move on to, oh, advent calendars. They're all sold out now. I'm sorry. I've had several people ask me if I could add them after I closed it, and unfortunately I wish that I could, but I've already started dyeing it. And originally I was saying okay for 12 days, but then now I'm dyeing 12 days and I'm not writing down the recipes because they're not repeatable colorways. So unfortunately I've already started dyeing both 12 and 25 days, so there's no way that I can add you to it this year. But hopefully next year you'll be able to join us, because I think this is going to be amazing. I've been so creative lately. It's been ridiculous. Like, I am super, super, super happy with everything that's been coming out of my mind lately. It's just I haven't been able to update the shop, and I got to get on it, guys. But I have good excuses. So anyway, prototype bag, I think I showed it last time, from WTF Knitting. He is making me notions pouches to go in the advent calendars, and I'm so excited. But I thought I'd just flash that up since it's up here. We went to wool gathering 2 weekends ago, and I bought some goodies. But guys, I was really good at wool gathering. I'm really happy. I'm really proud of myself. So the first thing that I got was actually a gift from Don. Hi, Don. First of all, I met up with Levi and Miss Wilma and and Levi's partner, and we walked around, and it was fabulous. We got to meet so many great people, and I'm so glad that I got to meet some of you guys. And it just made me even more excited for Rhinebeck. So we met up with our friend Dawn, who we met last year, and she made Levi and I these sheep ornaments, and they are literally the cutest things ever. I love them so much. So these are going to be hung up on my tree this year, but they're also going to be behind me the rest of the year, because they're sheep. They're all year round, of course. So the details on this are just so awesome, and they're such good gifts. So thank you so much, Dawn. I absolutely adore them, and they will be cherished for sure. Speaking of little ornaments, the Levi bought last year from this same place a little alpaca ornament, and we were looking through their stuff this year, and I had to get a few things. So first of all, I got a what do they call? An alpaca. That's what they're called. Alpaca. I got an alpaca for my brother-in-law's girlfriend because she's obsessed with alpacas. But I've already gifted that to her, so I don't have it to show. But I also got the honeybee. Look at that, guys. Isn't he adorable? All his little wings bent, but that's okay. I love him. So yeah, I got the little alpaca. Look at his little nose. I think that's supposed to be his stinger almost. But he's so cute. And these are all felted. And these are from Land Art. And then I'm obsessed with penguins. I don't know if you guys knew this about me or not. So I had to get the penguin too. And he's so cute. And they had different kinds of penguins. But this is like the traditional penguin. So I got that. So I got the honeybee and the penguin and the alpaca. But the alpaca has been gifted. Oops. The honeybee went flying. Okay. I only bought one skein of yarn there. And I saw this last year. And I still wanted it this year. So I went ahead and got it. And it's self-striping, and this is, I've never used this yarn before. It's called Redbird Yarn Studio Simple Sock, 460 yards per 100 grams, and this is Delia, I think. Oh my god, it's so pretty, and it's so pretty knit up. So I purchased that. I got some tough woolens. I got 5th and 57th, which reminds me a bit of Sugar Skull, but it's a little more sugary. That makes it a little more perfumey, but I really love this. This I'm gonna wear around Christmas time as just like a perfume too, because it smells really fantastic. And then also I got more lavender apple. I got lavender apple when it first came out in the kits with Mustache Yarn a few years ago. I think it's been like a year or two ago now. I think it was their first kit they did together, and I love it. And I was so sad when I ran out of it. And I wasn't gonna, the reason why I bought it at Wool Gathering, because she's also gonna be at Rhinebeck, because I was thinking about just waiting until I go to Rhinebeck to get stuff. And then Levi was like, first of all, if you buy it here, it doesn't come out of your Rhinebeck money. And second of all, you don't have to worry about transporting it back and it getting lost or whatever, because they're really small. And so I did, but then I was thinking when I got home, I really like these scents, and I would like them as chapsticks too, and she makes them as chapsticks, and I would like the lavender apple as a lanolin wool wash bar. So I think I mostly get her lanolin hand balms, because these are my favorite thing to use when I knit. It's my #1, and I go through about one every 2 months, I think, unless I'm working with a really rough project, and then I go through it more because I'm constantly reapplying it. But I buy her wool wash too, but it takes me so long to get through a bar that I normally don't need to buy it. So again, this is Tough Woolens. You guys all know Tough Woolens. I got this little alpaca pen with the googly eyes, because how could you not? And this year I bought a Wool Gathering t-shirt, and I got yellow because I need yellow in my life. So yeah, and I think it'll fit nicely. Guys, it's a 2X and it fits. I tried it on when I got home, and it's actually a little bit oversized. Eek! I've been losing weight, so I'll talk about that a little bit too. Guys, it's been forever, and I think I showed these to you guys, but I'm gonna run through them real quick because I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I did, and I just forgot to put them away, but you guys don't mind, right? So I got some sock blockers from Knitting Left, and I got owls and the wizard one of the wizard ones. She has a few different ones, and pumpkins, Halloweenies, and I got Christmas ones, and she made me the cutest honeybee knits ones, and I think I did show these last time, but guys, I love them. And I didn't use them on my socks today because I wanted to what am I trying to say? Sometimes my brain stops working mid-thought. Oh, I wanted to show these off, so that's why they're not on there, but they will be next week. Penguins, because I'm obsessed with penguins. I love penguins. And these are not from Knitting Left. I think these are Burning Impressions. I think. I don't think so. I don't remember where these are from, guys, and I'm so sorry, but I will look it up, and if you want to know where they're from, let me know, and I will find out for you. That's horrible of me. look at the penguins. I love penguins so much. Love penguins. Also, I got these ones. And I love them, and they look like they're shaped weird, but here's why. If you hold them this way, they're sock blockers for size smalls. If you hold them this way, they're sock blockers for size mediums. So how cool is that, right? So, and there's sun and moon and stars, and I absolutely adore the engraving on these. Love it so much. So I got those. And then I was putting all these back in the basket that I need to take things out of while it was stocking. So that's fantastic. And in addition to that, and I know that I showed this because I remember showing it before, I went sock blocker crazy, and I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not going to apologize for it. But I did go crazy. Sock blocker crazy. This is difficult. Also, Knitting Left made me this adorable little bag. Okay, I talked about these a little bit on my review, but I got some of the new Jimmy Beans Wools Knit Smarter tape measure and knitting needle in one, and essentially it's the needle doubles as a tape measure. If you want to know more about these, check out my last podcast. I used these on my review shawl, and then I also used them, I'm using them currently on my Desert Vista Dye Works socks, and I absolutely love them as far as needles go. They remind me of the Zings, but I like the cable and the join better on them. The measuring thing, it's a cool idea, but I don't think it's life-changing like they're marketing it to be. I don't think it's like, I don't know. If I have a project on my needles, it's really difficult to knit, so I could see how it's useful like when you're trying to measure something in the beginning, but if you're measuring gauge, like why wouldn't you just use a tape measure? I don't know. So I do enjoy these. I prefer these over the Zings / Melodies. So if you have been wanting the Zings and Melodies, I would recommend getting these instead. But if you already have the Zings and Melodies, I don't think it's necessarily worth purchasing these, but they're not too terribly expensive. I think they're like $7 or $8. So if you want to try them out, I would definitely recommend them. I am enjoying using them, so absolutely go get you some. And I think they're getting ready to come out with an interchangeable set. I received a lovely package from my friend Arity. Hi, Arity. Oh, there's my tag for life in the long grass. Whatever. I'm a mess sometimes. She sent me some little goodies from Stitches because I couldn't make it this year. She made these stitch markers, and they are adorable. I love them. They're adorable. She got me these honeycomb stitch markers. I don't know if you can see them. They're like little hex stitch markers from Stunning Stitch Markers for Stunning String Studios, and I love Stunning String Studios. They have all these kits that I want to try. Some teas, and look at that. It's a Little Notions pouch, and it's from Northern Bee Studio, and it's got a little honeybee on it. And I love it so much, and it was so incredibly thoughtful. So thank you so much, Arity. I was having a bad week, and this was definitely needed. And I hope you are healing as well, because I know we both had some pretty severe injuries. So I hope you are healing. I got, if I want exposure, I'll get my tits out pin, enamel pin, because I participated in that, so I got that for a little memento. I ordered this like months and months and months ago, and it's the, I did it last year. I don't participate in the cow, but I like getting the yarn. And it's the Hogwarts kit from O Loops. And this year, our good friend Kay, the crazy sock lady, designed the sock pattern for it, and it's called Socks for Dumbledore, and I absolutely adore it. So she did a fantastic job. I got my Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry letter. I'm a second year this year, so I'm in year 2. I got a bookmark, which I'm a reader, so that's always good. We got some pumpkin pasties sock soap from Tough Woolens. Oh, it smells so good. I got my platform 9 3/4 ticket. I got some Christmas in the Great Hall tea from the Simply Bookish Co. Of course, we got this little Notions pouch, and it says Mischief Managed on it. From Little Bitty Delights Baking Clay since 2016, we got this Hogwarts Sorting Hat cupcake charm. Oh, it's so hard to see, but it's so cute. And we got some lemon drops that I already ate, because how could you not? And there's something else in here. Oh, and then a Harry Potter enamel pen, and it has book 6 on it, and I don't know if everybody got book 6. I'm not sure. I wish I would have 1 and 2, because I got 1 last year and 2 this year, but this is okay. This is 6, and I like it. So, maybe it's their 6th year doing this, and that's why they were celebrating it. So, I got all those wonderful goodies. I love buying this case because it's so well thought out, and I think they plan out like all year round. And it comes in the fall when it's time to go back to Hogwarts, so it's like perfect timing. So I receive, with the kit, you get 2 skeins of yarn. I sign up for the Hufflepuff one because I'm a Hufflepuff. So this is Christmas at Hogwarts Castle, and it's on their Lark base, which is 75% non-superwash merino, 20% silk, 5% Selena, 231 yards, and it is DK. And it is so pretty. So pretty. I love it. That'll be a pretty hat, I think, and it's sparkle. And then I got Cedric Dances at the Yule Ball. If you miss Cedric, just go watch Twilight. Right? Okay, so Cedric Dances at the Yule Ball, and this is on her Ascot base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. And it is so pretty. I've loved these lately, where it's just like the light splotches of speckles. Like, these are my favorite. And it's got the Hufflepuff mini. So that was that. Remember when I said, like, I go crazy, like, I don't spend money and then I go crazy? Well, that's what happened with the yarn jar and Desert Styrox, but the yarn jar. I think I showed these before. These were the original 2 that I ordered, and I ordered this one for my dad called Dark Side, but I think I ordered it for Jason, but I think I'll give it to my dad because he likes Ohio State, and these are Ohio State colors. It's obviously Star Wars reference. And then Let's Be Unicorns on Sparkle because duh. And it came with a cute little unicorn charm. And then I got those in the mail, and she had like a buy to get so much percentage off sale, so I bought 4. I may have already shown all these. I think I did, so I'm just gonna hold them up. So actually I didn't do too bad because I don't have that much more. I think I already showed you all these. So from this way to this way, we have flip-flops, kinetic, this one is Cosmic Lavender, and Supernova. So there's those 4. And then I have these ones, which is Galactic, I think. Oh, Gelato, Neon Flamingo, Blossom, and Pegasus. Oh, guys, I love them so much. I love the yarn jar. It's one of my new favorites. I got some more nomadic yarns. I think you've seen the Tits Out one. So there's sprees in there. I love sprees. I didn't see the sprees before. Put those in there for later. So I got Tits Out. I got some more Harry Potter colorways that I didn't have. Diagon Alley. And Defense Against the Dark Arts, which I am in love with this one. I I love this one as much as I loved the Ginny Weasley ones last year, which I was obsessed with, which I cast on right away, which is not like me. And then I got some Teeny Butt, and I got her Harry Potter Yarn of the Month for August. However, I thought I bought another skein from her, and I got another skein from her, and I can't find it anywhere. So I don't know. Maybe I already put it on my shelf. But it's just lost. And this is her Shimmer Sock, which is fingering weight, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% silver stellina, 438 yards per 100 grams. The Secret of Nicholas Flamel is the colorway, and guys, it's so pretty. Oh, it is so pretty. It's good. It's really good. And I'm not going to open these up and show them because one is a gift and I want it to be a surprise. But I got Hawaii Bazaar yarn, and I got her mystery sock blanks for what month was this? I don't remember. I think it was August. It might have been September. And one's a gift, and I'm not going to tell you what the theme was for that month, but each month she does a theme. So the month before I got these, it was Disney. So this month, it was something else. So I got a gift for somebody, and I already know what they are. And I will open them up and show you guys once I decide who's getting what. But yeah, I can't decide because they would both be a good gift. And I like them both. One's for me, one's for a gift. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll give them both away. Who knows? Because Lord knows I don't need any more sock blanks or yarn. So guys, that's it. I made it through acquisitions rather quickly, I hope, because I had a lot to share, and I wanted to get through it all. And while I'm putting this in the basket, I don't have a lot of time today. I've got a lot of stuff I have to do, including editing the podcast. So I'm sorry if it felt a bit rushed. I just have a lot to share, and I wanted to make sure I got through it all on the limited amount of time that I have. So let's play some catch up. Last time you saw me, I was getting ready to leave for Las Vegas, which we did. We had a fabulous time. We saw 4 Cirque du Soleil shows. We went to several restaurants, including Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse, which was the most expensive meal I've ever eaten in my life. And I literally cried when I ate the dessert because it was that good. And we got the Hell's Kitchen tasting menu while we were there. So it was like all the stuff that you get to see on Hell's Kitchen, which is amazing. We had a lot of fun. I will say I was in a lot of pain with my foot because my plantar fasciitis was acting up. So it made me a bit grumpy while we were there, but I got over it, and I think overall we had a fabulous time. So no complaints from me or Jason. The plane ride was fine. I was a bit nervous because I hadn't flown since I was like 17, I think. So yeah, 17. It was a long time ago. So I was a bit nervous, and I don't know what else I can say about that. I was sick on the plane ride, both there and back, in a very bad way on the way back. So on the way there, I was really super nauseous, and I get motion sickness, so I don't know why I didn't think to take Dramamine, so I didn't, and it was a smaller plane because we got the cheap flight. And I was sick. When we got there, we were there about an hour before we got there. I started to feel better, so it ended up being okay. I love Sprees. They're one of my favorites. What else? On the way back, I took Dramamine, and I was even more sick than on the way there. Like, to the point where I told Jason I need a throw-up bag, and he said there are none in the seats because they forgot to restock them or something. And he said go to the bathroom, and I was in the middle seat, and I was like, if I move, somebody's getting barfed on, so I'm just going to sit as still as possible. So I did until we got home. But I was really sick on the way home. It was fantastic. I loved it. I loved everything about Las Vegas. Well, not everything, But I loved our experience in Las Vegas, and we're already trying to plan a trip back for early spring or late spring, one or the other, for spring. So, I want to go back in a few months, for sure. I'm trying to think what happened when we got back. Well, I spent a lot of time knitting. Not a lot of time focusing on my shop. I took a couple weeks off. I just wasn't feeling very creative. And then I started getting back into my shop because I needed to do advent calendars and all this fun stuff. And I had a bit of an accident. And it was pretty bad. And it was a dying related accident. So here's what happened. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen it in my stories, and I'm not going to show the picture here because it is gory, and I know not everybody wants to see that, but if you want to see it, it's only on I don't think you're going to get to see it because it's on Facebook, but I don't know if you guys follow me on Facebook, which I don't think any of you do, because I'm never on there. But essentially what happened was I was washing food service, the pans that I use. And I use steam table pans, which are like food service pans. So the edges are very thin because they sit flush against the steam table. And I was stacking them to dry, and I had just went and saw, what movie did I see? I saw A Simple Favor with Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. And I was watching, I had gotten home, it was like 10 o'clock. Jason and I went and grabbed a sandwich because we hadn't eaten yet. And then we were watching one of the late night shows, and Anna Kendrick was being interviewed. So I was washing pans, rinsing yarn, and paying attention to that. And I turned to put a pan on the stack to dry because they were like this. Like, you know how you stack them like opposite so that they can sit on top of each other. And I didn't get the pan on there all the way, and I didn't realize it. And at that point, it was probably like a little, like right here, tall on me. I'm 5'4", so it was probably about 4 feet high, 4.5 feet high. And it knocked over the stack onto my foot. First thought was, crap, I'm angry because I have to clean this up now. Second thought was, crap, I'm angry because one of them hit my foot and it hurts, but it was more like you stub your toe or you hit your funny bone, and so you're like angry about it. It didn't like, oh, this really hurts, right? So then Jason's like, what happened? And he like jumped up and he's like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, Melissa, you're bleeding. And I look at my right leg, and there were like blood splatters on it going in the up direction. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but you can tell, like, when something splatters, you can tell if it splashes up or splashes down, and it was like splashed up. And I was like, where's the blood coming from? Because my right leg's not bleeding. And then I looked over at my left foot, and Jason hadn't seen that yet because the island was blocking his view of my left foot. And I said, okay, we need to go to the emergency room. And when he got up and saw it, he started freaking out. He turned white, and I thought he was going to pass out, and I was just trying to stay calm because one of the pans, let's see, it's about 3 to 4 inch cut up my foot, cut my foot and cut all the way down to the bone. I could see it cut through the muscle. It cut, you could see the tendon. You can see the bone. You can see the tendon on either side. You could see the bone. And it nicked one of my artery veins. So there was like this, it's not red blood, right? It's like dark, thick blood just gushing out. And it wasn't like splurting out. It was just gushing out. And it was a lot of blood. And it was very traumatic. Like, I'm about to cry just thinking about it. The experience of it and how it looked is much worse than how it felt, because you don't have a whole lot of nerves in the top of your foot. So it just felt like a cut. Like, it stung. It hurt. But when they asked me when I got to the hospital what my pain level was, I only said 3 or 4. It wasn't horrible. It was how it looked that was scary, and the blood was, losing all that blood was very scary. So somehow we got into the car, and Jason got me to the emergency room, and they got me all fixed up. I had 6 stitches, which I just had removed yesterday. And it's still healing. It still looks pretty bad. It's still swelling. It's actually been in more pain today than it has been in like a week because they took the stitches out. They had to do a little bit of digging because the skin had grown up around some of the stitches, and in fact they didn't get all the stitches out. There's one stitch in there. There's 2 stitches that she cut the knot on it, but it's gonna have to work its way out because the skin was so tight she couldn't get it out with tweezers. So she spent a lot of time digging it yesterday, so that was painful. It looks better today than it did yesterday, but it's really swollen. So I have been pretty much couch bound for 2 weeks. So I've gotten some knitting done. I've gotten work done. I have been able to dye advent calendars again because I am cutting back on the amount of dyeing I'm doing per day. And I'm making it so that I'm only on my feet for like 15-20 minutes at a time. So, yeah, that's what's been going on with me. I've had some female problems as well that I've been going to doctors for and getting testing done. Essentially, I was put on, I talk a lot about it on Instagram. I don't talk as much about it on here just because like it's personal, it's really personal. So some people don't want to hear about that stuff. But essentially I was put on some medication for 21 days, and then I had to go get an ultrasound. And now in the 16th of October, which is like the day before I leave for Rhinebeck, or maybe it's the 15th of October, I'm getting a hormone panel completed. So hopefully they figure out what's going on with that. I've been losing weight. I am almost at 40 pounds lost. I started running, doing Couch to 5K, but obviously I haven't been able to do that for a couple weeks because of my foot. I have lost 39 pounds, and I'm happy. I'm doing really well, and I'm going to therapy. And for those of you that are not aware, I was diagnosed with a binge eating disorder a few months ago, and so I've been working my way through that through therapy and just trying to get healthy. So that's the goal. I think that's it. I think this is a long enough podcast. I feel like there's a lot that I missed out on talking about because it's been so long, and the longer you wait, the more you start to forget things. So I'm sure it'll come to me, and I will share that. If you want to know what's going on in my day-to-day life and you miss these podcasts, please go follow me on Instagram because I share a lot of stories on Instagram about my day-to-day life. I don't really post as much anymore, which I really want to get better about, but I really am trying to manage my time, and if whatever I don't get done before 7 or 7:30 p.m., I don't get done when it comes to work or the podcast or my business. After 7:30, that's my time with my family, and I take that to do what I want to do instead of what I need to do. So if it doesn't get done that day, then it doesn't get done. So I've got a lot to do today. I've already worked today. I've got to package orders, run to the post office, clean, go to the store, edit this podcast. I've got lots to do, so I've got to get moving. But I had a wonderful time spending with you guys today. It was so good to chat with you. I'm so happy that I had a few minutes to sit down to talk, and I am hoping to be back sooner rather than later with a new podcast, so stay tuned. If for some reason I don't get to podcast before Rhinebeck, I hope that you guys are having a wonderful fall, and I hope to see you there. So have a great week, have a great couple weeks, have a great month. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Talk to you later.